Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So this video is going to be a little different. We're looking at the tracks for ACC, Assetto Corsa Competizione, and what I'm going to do today is go over my progress at the different tracks. So I have my spreadsheet on a phone here in an Excel document. And most of these times on the spreadsheet are back when I was driving the Audi Evo. So I just thought it'd be a good way to look back and see how I've progressed through the races. So the first track we're going to look at is Imola here. Now the real life record on this track is a 1 minute 39 seconds. So looking back at my time, my personal best is a 1 minute 45 seconds driving the Ferrari 296 GT3. So when I look at my spreadsheet under Imola, okay, I've improved. I was doing a 146.5, a 1 minute 46 seconds. That's back when I was driving the Audi Evo. And these days driving the Ferrari 296. So I've improved by a second. A little over a second. Alright, that's an improvement. I'll take it. Now looking at Brands Hatch. Brands Hatch, even though it's a small track, for me it's kind of a technical track. A lot of undulations and just you have to get it right. In my mind, 100% of the times, or you can really go off up in these runoff areas and lose a lot of time. So the real life record is 1 minute 23 seconds. I'm doing it in 1 minute 28 seconds in the Ferrari. Oh, back when I was driving a 488, the old Ferrari. So now to look at my spreadsheet for Brands Hatch, a 128.5. So I was driving, okay, I have not improved at this track only because I've shied away from it, yeah. So I'm sure if I took the new Ferrari 296 out, I can probably improve my time. But this is just because I haven't driven this track in a while. So let's move on to Paul Ricard, where I was racing today. The real life record is 1 minute 53 seconds. Now I am happy with this because in the old Ferrari 488, I'm way off, but 159. Now I used to be 2 minutes and 4 seconds on this track. So this is an improvement. When I look on the spreadsheet of the Paul Ricard, and we were just here this morning and I was doing 159.6, I believe. So Paul Ricard, no, back when I was driving the, okay, updated. Okay, when I was driving a 488, I used to do a 204, then a 201, and now I'm doing a 159. So that's a definite improvement. So moving ahead to Zandvoort. The real life record is 1 minute 22 seconds, and I'm over 20 seconds off. Now this is back when I was driving the Mercedes GT3. Let's see what the spreadsheet says for Zandvoort. Oh wow, the Zandvoort, the spreadsheet says driving an Audi Evo, I was doing 1 minute and 39 seconds. So I was a second faster in the Audi. Why this is not updated, I'm not sure. All right, let's move ahead to my Zano. The real life record for this track is 1 minute and 33 seconds. Um, okay, I'm kind of happy with this. I'm about 4 seconds off. Back when I was driving the Audi, I was doing it in 1 minute 37 seconds. And what does the spreadsheet says? The spreadsheet says the same thing. So I need to go back and drive this track and try and set a higher record driving the 296 Ferrari. But I do remember this track because when I joined one of the leagues, either LFM or Pit Skill, you had to set a record, a consecutive couple of laps, 7 or 9 laps at this track. So that's when I was driving the Audi. And the spreadsheet says the same, 137.4. Okay, moving along to Spa. Now there was a day where the track record is 2 minutes and 18 seconds. That's super fast. Um, Now, there was a time I used to do a 2 minute and 30-second lap. Then it went to 2 minute 28, 26, and now I can do a 2 minute 23 second lap driving the 296 Ferrari. And back when I was driving the Audi Evo, I was doing a 2 minute 26 second. So constant improvements. Now, there's one caveat with all these times. Most of them, I was doing the times on full race fuel. These are times set in a race. Because I really put in qualifying fuel, which I should, because the thing is, 13 liters is lighter than 30 liters. So in essence, the lighter car should be faster. And I really put in hot lap fuel or qualifying fuel. So most of the times you're seeing, I mean, they're still not the best, but they're fast for me. Most of the times that you're seeing is on full race load fuel. Um, Either 37 liters or 60 liters, depending on how long the race is. So yeah, I used to do a 230 around Spa. Now I can do a 223 on full race fuel in the 296, which I'm happy about because that's what 7 seconds. All right, Valencia. Now, Valencia wasn't on my spreadsheet because Valencia is a newer track, but I did update it. Um, so I could do a 138.2 around Valencia. And that's the few times that I've driven it. And I drove it because it's a new track, so why not? So I'm sure with a lot of practice, I can get a faster time here. And for the sim racers who have the game and are watching this video, by all means, put your times in the comments. I'm sure they'll be faster. It'll give me something to aim for. Um, but if you play this game, you know sometimes it's not always about the speed, it's about the fun. But I'm just going back to look at my progress. So Barcelona, wow, in the McLaren, and I know what this is. I think this time is when I was on a team and this was for a team on pit skill, and my teammate didn't want to drive the Ferrari 488. So I went on and tried to learn the McLaren 720S. So I was doing a 147 in the McLaren. Looking at the spreadsheet for Barcelona, I was doing a 147.7. Wow. In the Ferrari 488, the old Ferrari. Okay. So this is funny because maybe you know what it was? Maybe it was because I was learning his setup. In the Ferrari 488, the old one I'm used to, I was doing Barcelona 147.712. Driving a totally new car to me, I got a faster time of 147.1. That's something. Wow. All right, so moving ahead to Zoder. I think we were just at Zoder this morning, Zen and I. So Zoder, let's look at the spreadsheet first. I was doing a 133.1 in the Audi Evo 2. That's the car that I used to drive exclusively all the time. And most of these times I'm reading are in the Audi, except for one, two, three, four, five, except for seven. All right, so I used to do a 133.1 in the Audi. These days I'm doing a 131. So I'm 2 seconds faster now in the new Ferrari. And a lot of these aren't the car. It could be race pace and it could be just constant practice. So all right, the Nürburgring. The spreadsheet says, wow, I started doing 204s, 203s, 201s, all in the Mercedes until I got it down to a 2 minute flat in the Mercedes at Nürburgring. Now, these days, driving the new Ferrari, I'm doing 159.8s. And again, I know all these times can be improved because I know for a fact all of these are full race pace fuel. So I'm sure if I start hot lapping it, had maybe 3 or 4 liters in the car, making the car later, I probably can improve on these times. Um, or not. I could just suck at the track. So let's look at Monza, everybody's fun track, because barely any turns and a lot of straights. So Monza, let's look at the spreadsheet first. Monza, driving the Evo, the Audi back in the day, I was doing 1 minute and 51 seconds around Monza. Now I'm doing 1 minute 50. So I'm a second faster. And I'm sure if I concentrated and did the time trials, I'm sure it would be faster. All right, so Hungaroring, I was doing 1 minute 48 seconds in the Audi R8. Hungaroring on the spreadsheet, the same. Okay, 148.075. Okay. And this was a fast car. And I know I've driven this track in the Mercedes and the 296 Ferrari, but my Audi time still holds. So I may have to go back and practice this track to try and beat that old time in a newer car. And also the other caveat is when the game updates, the tire model kinds of change also, and the balance of the BOP, the balance of power, as they say. So looking at Silverstone, where I was just this morning racing, let's look at the spreadsheet. Silverstone on the spreadsheet says, okay, 202. So I have not improved at Silverstone at all. And it's such a fun track. I was doing a 202 in the Audi, and this time still holds on my spreadsheet and on here on the screen. So, and I'm getting close because I know I was doing a 202.6 just this morning. All right, let's move ahead to Alton Park. Now, I know this is old. because I was driving the Aston Martin. I was doing a 141. Let's see, Oaton Park on the spreadsheet. Now, why isn't this updated? So on the spreadsheet, it says in the Audi I was doing a 138.7, but here it says a 141.2. Now this is strange, unless this is a typo. But this is old because I never drive the Audi AMR. I mean the Audi AMR, the Aston Martin Racing. Wow. All right, let's move along to a track that gives me a headache, Snetterton, because of this section right here. It's so claustrophobic and dizzying. All right, back when I was driving the Porsche 991 GTR, I was doing a 157, and I think it's the same. Let's see, Snetterton, yeah, a 151. No, yeah, 157. All right, so I'm sure if I put my mind to it and practice, I can get lower than that 157. All right, Donington Park. Back when I was driving the Audi, I was doing a 130. Let's check the spreadsheet. Donington Park. Okay, I've improved. I was doing a 131 in the Audi. So when I did this spreadsheet, I was doing a 131. Now I'm doing a 130. So that's 1 second improvement. I'll take it. Okay, let's move to COTA, the Circuit of the Americas. It's hard to believe it's taken 2 minutes and 10 seconds to get around this track. But let's see what the spreadsheet says. All right, so back when I was driving the Audi Evo 2, I was doing a 213. These days, driving the 296 Ferrari, I'm doing a 210. So I've improved at this track by 3 seconds. All right, that's not bad. All right, Indianapolis. I know this is going to suck because this is another track that kind of throws me off. Indianapolis spreadsheet says a 142 in the Audi, and the same thing it says here, 132 in the Audi. I just can't get a rhythm going around Indianapolis. I just can't. It seems claustrophobic to me. I just can't get a good rhythm. I'm sure if I practice this track, I can bring that 142 down. So moving along to Watkins Glen, one of my favorite tracks. Wow. Now I raced this track a lot in the 296 Ferrari, and I'm surprised that I don't have a record here. The record I do have here is in the McLaren, which is kind of strange. So let's look at the spreadsheet. Watkins Glen. The spreadsheet says a 148 back when I was driving an Audi, but I'm faster. That's what it is. I remember what it is. This was another track when I had a teammate and we were racing on a team on pit skill. I had to drive the McLaren and I was using his setups. So that's why this time is faster than the time I can do in the Ferrari. Yeah, I remember that now. Wow. Which is 4 seconds off the real life record. All right, let's move on to Mount Panorama, another track that scares me because of this section here and this section here. Beautiful downhill, but very tight corners. So the spreadsheet says from Mount Panorama that I can do a 214. Wow, that's when I was driving the Bentley. That was eons ago. So driving the Bentley, I was doing a 214, and that's what the spreadsheet says, 214. And because it's such a crazy track, and I don't want to mess up anyone's race, I kind of shy away from it until I learn it and become comfortable with it. Then I'll start driving it and get a set a faster time. But I'll only ruin someone's race in this crazy section here. Yeah. Okay, so we're almost done. Three more tracks to go. Laguna Seca. Now I remember Laguna Seca because there's a guy on Twitch goes by the name of Toby Classics. Toby Classics UK. Now Toby and I used to go back and forth because we would try and get bragging rights for this track. I remember I was doing a 131, he would get a 130. He would get a 130, I would get a 129. He would get a 128, and I'm stuck at a one. He would get a 120. He would get a 129, and I would get a 128, and that's where I'm stuck. So I think the spreadsheet should be the same for Laguna Seca. Let's see. Laguna Seca 128, yeah, in the Audi, yeah. So this is why I remember this track, because going back and forth, trying to beat each other's times. So, yeah. All right, Suzuka, another technical track because of these S's right here, which would really throw me off. I couldn't get a good rhythm. Um, let's look at the spreadsheet for Suzuka. So driving the Audi, I was doing a 2 minute and 9 second lap. And when I see McLaren here, the 720S, it tells me this was another track when I was on the team, when I had a teammate on pit skill and I was driving, we had to drive the same car and I was using his setups. So that's why I'm 9 seconds faster than my time. So the spreadsheet says a 209, but and look at this. I'm only 2 seconds off the record, about 2 seconds off the record. The real life record is a 2 minute and 3 seconds, and I was doing 2 minute and 5 seconds. That's huge. That's huge. Yeah. And the last track, Kyalami, South Africa, one of my favorite tracks in the game. Let's see what the spreadsheet says first. Kyalami. I just saw it. Okay, so Kyalami driving. Wow, that's when I was driving a Nissan GTR. I was doing a 1 minute 45 second lap. These days, I'm doing a 143 in the Ferrari 296. So that's 2 seconds faster. Yeah. So again, not the fastest times, but I love looking back and seeing the progress. Now on the spreadsheet I'm looking at on my phone, it doesn't have the date that this was created. I wish it did, and maybe I'm not looking in the right place, but I would love to see how far back this spreadsheet goes so I can compare it to. Sorry for the noise. I'm watching some crazy horror movie with Vincent Price called From a Whisper to a Scream back in 1987. Let me turn that down. But anyway, yeah, that's an improvement. How do we get back on Catalonia? Yeah, so that's Kyalami. But yeah, looking back at these times, so I think after today, I'm gonna put the dates in the spreadsheet. That way I can see how quickly I'm improving. So basically, I guess what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back and look at these tracks, and I'm gonna look like back when I was driving a 4888, the older Ferrari before the new 296 Ferrari. I'm going to see if I can beat this time. Um, I haven't decided if I'm going to start putting less fuel in the car, but I just like getting my true pace with race fuel. But yeah, the only two caveats are that these times are heavy fuel at race pace, and they could be, well, I'm sure they are on old versions like 1.91 all the way up to 1.95. Because if you have the game, the tire models change. So yeah, that's a look back at my progress on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Um, like I said, if you have the game, feel free to put your times in the comments. Let me know. I probably don't have to say it because I know some people are going to jump in and say, you're a whole 10 seconds slower than me around here. And look, that's fine. It's all about the journey for me. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you next time on track.